Welcome back. You're watching Storyboard. One of the most interesting takeaways from the recently held Kyoorius Designyatra was how design will lead the way for advertising that we will see in the coming days. On the sidelines of Designyatra, we caught up with former agency hand Prasanna Sankhe and spoke to him about the current state of design industry in India and things that need to be changed. He also spoke about a few brand problems that he solved with the aid of a good design. Let's take a look. Prasanna, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here.
We are meeting at Designyatra. Speaking of design, do we need to start afresh when it comes to art and design in India?
If you're asking about an Indian idiom of design, yeah, we really need to relook at ourselves, because whatever current interpretation of design that we have is largely Victorian, and some influences of Scandinavian designs are coming into us. But we haven't looked at our culture of Indianness, Indian icons, Indian art styles, Indian cultural influences, except for maybe kitsch. But kitsch also we adapted when the Western world adapted it and re-exported it back to us. And then we said, okay, yeah, this looks cool. Yeah. We are looking for some validation from the Western world of our Indian design theme, but I don't think we have ourselves. I think there is a need to kind of take the Western influences, process it out and get it out of our systems and start afresh with the Indian palette and start doing a Indian theme, something that the world looks at us and says, yeah, this is Indian design.
Yeah, but interestingly, we have design and art inspired from different regions of the country. Yeah. I have had conversations with many of the speakers who have attended Kyoorius Designyatra. And whenever I ask them what is their understanding of the Indian design industry, their answer is, we don't have a clue. Like, we know nothing. And, in fact, one of the speakers pointed out yesterday that, India is not well represented in the global design scenario. Like, we have heard of Italian designs, we have heard of Scandinavian designs, as you mentioned. So do you agree to that, and how can we change that? I
completely agree with his observations, because what we are just trying to do is we are trying to put a mirror to the Western design influences and push it back. Suppose if you're giving a square to design, right? A European country will design it in a certain way. A Japanese country will be completely different and represent its own spirit, or some cultural icon or cliches will be there. But we don't have those things with us, and we've not done it. In the last 70 years, since India has got independence, all we've done is taken in English typography and just designed our master designs, and the languages, for instance, they just come as a representation or a substitution of the English fonts. So we are not looking at an in-depth representation of India in anything, be it colors, be it typography, be it the icons that we use. It's all coming from a Victorian thing. So if you use embellishments at the side of your layout or a design, just bear in mind they're clip arts from the Victorian era. Yeah. There's nothing Indian about it. Yeah. So I think that it is true that we are not. There is a huge treasure of Indian iconography and Indian colors and Indian culture in general. But we are not using it. The only thing that are known abroad is kitsch art and maybe truck art now, that it's become loud and colorful and bold and cool. So that's the only two things that we've actually looked at.
How do we change that?
I think the educational institutes will have to play a huge role in it, because the students are at a very nice stage in their career where they can do a lot of research, where they can do a lot of experimentation, and they can pass on the knowledge upwards, because the institutions they have such a resource of time that they can actually collate so much of data and put it into the system. Because and then after this knowledge base is there, then it's for the experts or the leaders of the industries to kind of grab onto that treasure and put it out there for the world to see.
Tell us about advertising and the role of design in advertising, since you have been in advertising before.
Yeah. So I think that they are both symbiotic relationship, and it's like a design can push advertising so much forward, because currently we are only looking at advertising as communication design, but I look at design as strategic design, because whenever you start the journey of a brand or how you start interacting with a brand begins with a visual cue or something that you remember of the brand all throughout, be it the SIM card of Vodafone, be it the SIM card of Airtel, that small little comma or that red triangle. You always get that into your system, right? So the design is omnipresent throughout your journey. I think advertising can also take a cue from there and start building these I call it the longer memory elements, which can continue in advertising much more longer.
Yeah, something like an Indigo that has done it very well with its packaging
exactly,
of dabbas and
it's based on a very solid strategic design principle. Their template is so clearly defined. The one project that we did recently last year was IDFC Bank, right?
Okay.
So when we did the bank identity, we have done a 350-page manual of not only about the brand identity, but the communication template, the kind of photography that can be used, what are the fonts that need to be done, and we've handed over the manual to the advertising agency. We sat with a complete debrief session, and it really shows right now when the brand is out in the market, the uniformity of the design that it appears.
Yeah.
So I think design and advertising can work hand in hand to kind of build the longevity or the visual language in the consumer's head.
One soul-satisfying work as an artist that you did when you were in advertising, and something that you did currently with Hyphen.
This is a really ancient piece of work. I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a film for Premsand's Bazaar which I did with Ram Madhwani, and it was a labor of love for us at that point of time. But we did some amazing design and post-production work in typography, which nobody had a clue about at that time, that typography could play such a crucial role in a TV commercial. So that was a piece of work that got recognition that time. It gave us tremendous satisfaction. So that is one work that has been with me. And in Hyphen, there are particularly two cases that I really like and get satisfied with, and proud about the fact that we were managed to do it. So one was the India Bulls project, where we came in to design some wall graphics, but ended up doing a huge installation, which was for the motivating the employees, and the results were there for the client to see. And the second project was when we did a surrogate product for Singleton Selections, where normally surrogate products are a dead expenditure, but Singleton Selections has a profit and loss statement, and it's slated to break even in about 3 years' time.
In today's digital world, where every marketer is grappling with so many challenges, how can design and art help a particular brand?
I think the importance of design and art will always remain, and it's only for us to kind of take this new lens of digital and apply it to the real world, because the problems are still the same. The problem is still, how do you grab the attention of the consumer? How does your eye flow move from one end to the other? What is the messaging? So I think design and art will still continue to be the key focus areas. It's just for us, how do we harness these tools of the new age digital medium to kind of play with them? And it's essential for the design agencies or the advertising agencies of India to kind of fully embrace it, not pay some token lip servicing that we are digital or we are. It's not about that. We have to really understand the behavior of the consumer, how does he interact with the digital medium, and then kind of push our art sense or design sense into it to maximize the returns.
So what is the future of the Indian design industry? I
think we are in a very unique position, because our economy is so good and it's so strong, and clients are looking at expanding businesses, right? So, and where is the need not for design, if not in India? Because every client you see and every client we speak to, they're having at least potentially 2 or 3 business problems, which I think design can play a role in solving. So I think it just requires a deeper and more meaningful dialogue between the clients and the marketing, advertising / design agencies.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks for speaking to us.
Thanks, Shivani.
It is time for us to take a short break. When we return, we have the exclusive preview of the new commercial for Edelweiss Tokyo Life Insurance featuring Irfan Khan.